Joey Logano walks back some of his post-All-Star race comments. RFK Racing appeals the massive Chris Buescher penalty, and tonight, 3 more names will be voted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. That's right, tonight, 3 more legends will be voted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Fitting then that today is publication day for Petty versus Pearson. Richard Petty, class of 2010, the inaugural NASCAR Hall of Fame class. Pearson, the very next year, the 2 most winningest Cup Series drivers in NASCAR history. Petty versus Pearson is the only book to closely examine one of stock car racing's greatest rivalries. It's the inside story of their rivalry and friendship through the decades. They raced head-to-head 551 times and finished 1-2 an astounding 63 times. Author Mike Hembry details the drivers' backgrounds, their pre-Winston Cup days, memorable battles, their parallel careers, and how that all contributed to the seismic growth of NASCAR. Also includes a foreword by NASCAR Hall of Famer Terry Labonte. Petty vs. Pearson is available now. Click the link down below. You can get Petty vs. Pearson at Barnes & Noble, barnesandnoble.com. Be sure to check out Petty vs. Pearson. Great read, especially if you're a racing history buff. Let's begin this episode with some very recent history. Joey Logano raced Christopher Bell for the win Sunday night at North Wilkesboro Speedway, with Bell ultimately taking advantage of his fresher tires to push Logano out of the way and collect the $1 million check. Joey wasn't happy afterwards, telling Fox that he would have spun Bell if given the chance.
If I could have got to him, he was going around after a move like that. I just couldn't get back to him.
When Christopher was told of those comments, he seemed surprised.
I don't think that I did anything that Joey has not done, and I've seen Joey do much worse.
Well, yesterday evening, Joey Logano was at an event in Mooresville, North Carolina, and he softened his stance when talking to NBC's Dustin Long. Logano said he's rewatched the finish of Sunday's race, admitted that he was aggressively blocking, trying to hold the lead. Joey says that now he does not believe Bell's move was as egregious as he originally thought. Joey told NBC, quote, "I set the tone that we're going to race like a-holes. It's okay that he did that to me, but in the moment, you're just pissed, right? You're just like, he ran me up the track. Then when I watched it, I was like, nah, it's probably warranted. Would I have done the same? Probably, especially after somebody ran me all over the racetrack like I did. I probably would have done the same." Click the NBC link down below to hear more of Joey's comments, but yeah, kind of refreshing to hear Joey reflect and be willing to somewhat change his opinion after fully absorbing all the information. This is twice in the last month that Joey has fallen victim to the heat of the moment. Over the radio at Talladega, late race North Wilkesboro, it's always important to remember that when drivers are mouthing off over the radio, or when they say something spicy to TV on pit road, that usually they haven't seen a replay. They only have their POV. They're hot, they're tired, they do not have a full view of the bigger picture. I think those heat of the moment comments from Joey Logano are very real, though. Like, in the heat of the moment Sunday night, Joey was ready to wreck Christopher Bell for the win. Those were his real emotions in that moment. If he could have gotten close, something would have happened. Next time somebody moves Joey out of the way, they're going to know that payback may be coming. Joey's not waiting for a replay. In the heat of the moment, he's going to get you back if he can. So I'm not saying that heat of the moment comments should be ignored or dismissed, just put them in the proper context. After hearing Joey's comments Sunday night, it sounded like he was ready to put Bell in the fence at Charlotte or Nashville or whatever upcoming race is on the horizon. But now, after he's had time to absorb it, he's rewatched the replay, he's changed his opinion. Is he still going to race Bell hard going forward? Absolutely. But it no longer sounds like he's on the hunt for revenge. I know some hate it when people walk back their comments, but personally, I'd rather somebody change or edit their opinion than double down on being wrong. Logano and Bell both pushed the issue at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Logano being pissed after the race is part of what makes him great. Nice guy on the track, ruthless, selfish, aggressive on it. I respect that. I also respect Logano editing his opinion once he's had time to see the bigger picture. I expect Christopher Bell and Joey Logano to not give each other an inch on track going forward. Let's move on. After a strong run at Kansas Speedway that saw RFK Racing driver Chris Buescher qualify second and finish 8th, his car was among the randomly selected cars that were taken back to NASCAR's R&D Center. NASCAR then found a violation in the front bumper cover area and last Thursday issued an L1 penalty to the team. They docked the 17 team's 60 driver and owner points, 5 playoff points driver and owner. They fined the team $75,000 and suspended the crew chief for 2 weeks. RFK Racing waited until yesterday, Monday, the deadline, to officially submit an appeal. After a thorough review of the penalties issued to the 17 Ford Mustang, RFK Racing has decided to appeal NASCAR's decision. We respect NASCAR's commitment to fair competition and appreciate the opportunity to engage in the appeals process. Makes sense that they would appeal, considering the 60-point swing dropped Chris Buescher from 12th to 24th in the points. From in the playoffs to out. Cup Series Managing Director Brad Moran said on the Hauler Talk podcast last week that the number 17 car had more than the allowed 2 inches of reinforcement behind the front bumper foam. He simply said that they had a larger area than what is permitted to be bonded into the nose piece. Something about weight, maybe that more reinforcement reduces the amount of flex in the nose, maybe it causes the nose to flex in a way that would be aero advantageous. I don't know, but after listening to Moran's comments on Hauler Talk, it sounds like the teams are able to work in this area to repair wear and tear and damage week to week. Apparently, according to NASCAR, they expanded their work into unapproved areas. So it sounds like a black and white ruling to me, but hey, I also thought Chase Briscoe's team had maybe a 20% chance of getting their Daytona penalty overturned, and they were successful, so what do I know? Clearly nothing. I just repeat what much smarter people are saying about the technical stuff. Anyway, RFK Racing is appealing the Chris Buescher penalty. No date has been set. I assume the appeal will be heard in the next couple of weeks. Crew Chief Scott Graves sat out North Wilkesboro, non-points race. They decided to get ahead of the suspension. Apparently, Crew Chief will also sit out this weekend at Charlotte, so the team is proactively getting ahead of the suspension, not kicking it down the line. Little surprising. I get why they would sit out North Wilkesboro. It's a non-points race, but the 600's a big deal. Whole extra stage in there. More points to be earned in this event than any other event. I feel like you'd want your main man, your crew chief on the box. I get that he can make calls from remotely, but still, never tell me the odds. That's going to be Roush's motto this week, and next we'll see if their appeal is successful. Tonight, 3 more icons will be voted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. 2 will be voted in off the Modern Era ballot, 1 from the Pioneer. The Modern Era nominees this year are Greg Biffle, Neil Bonnet, Tim Brewer, Jeff Burton, Kurt Busch, Randy Dorton, Harry Gant, Harry Hyde, Randy LaJoy, and Jack Sprague. On the Pioneer ballot, you have Jake Elder, Ray Hendrick, Banjo Matthews, Larry Phillips, and Bob Wellborn. Obviously, I don't have a vote, and frankly, I am not remotely qualified to speak to any of these legends' careers in any serious detail. I mean, I am getting older. I did see most of Kurt Busch's Cup career, and same with Greg Biffle, but I was just a fan watching on TV. I didn't cover either of their careers. But Kurt Busch, last couple, I guess. I want you to let me know who you think will get voted in today. I believe at 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 Eastern. It's late this afternoon, early evening, we'll know the results. I think Kurt Busch has to be a lock. He's won over 30 races, Daytona 500, NASCAR Cup Series champion, won the inaugural chase for the Nextel Cup. I know there have been some off-track controversies. I know he hasn't always gotten along with people in the garage, but his on-track results exceed the rest of the Modern Era ballot, in my opinion. Kurt Busch should be in the Hall of Fame this time around. As for the second Modern Era name, I think there's some serious momentum behind Harry Gant. That's my prediction, at least. You can make an argument for almost all these guys. I mean, Jack Sprague, 3-time truck champion, pioneer of that series. Greg Biffle, truck champion, Xfinity champion, won a lot of cup races. Burton won 21 cup races, I think, and continues to be involved in the sport through media, mentorship, so on and so on. Neil Bonnet is a legend. I could go on and on and on, but I feel like there's some real momentum behind Harry Gant. I don't know if the voting panel will feel the same way, but I mean, he still holds the record for oldest Cup Series race winner of all time, and he's still around and would be able to accept the award in person, I believe, which I think would make for a really cool moment. That's why I think there's some real momentum behind this being maybe the year for Harry Gant. Kurt Busch, gotta be a lock. Gant would be my prediction for that second spot, but if you asked me to make a vote, gosh, I'd be flipping a coin at this point, which is part of why I'm not qualified to vote on the Hall of Fame, and certainly not on the Pioneer ballot. I mean, I've done research on all these guys. I know many of their accomplishments, but like I can't speak to exactly what kind of contributions they made to stock car racing. So it's very hard for me to make a prediction or to make a pick, have an opinion myself. But yeah, we'll find out this evening who's going into the Hall as the class of 2026. Leave a comment down below. Who do you think will make it in? Who do you hope makes it in off of this year's ballot? Let me know. That is going to do it for this episode, y'all. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more NASCAR content, commentary, news, race reactions, and so much more every day, every week, all year. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters as well. I will talk to you again soon. Have a great rest of your day, folks. Thanks for watching.